Welcome to the ONS podcast with your host, Lynnaia Jacobsen.
Welcome back, you guys, to our ONS podcast brought to you by our partners at Face to Face Academy. ONS stands for Office of Neighborhood Safety. I'm your host, Lynnaia Jacobsen, and I'm a member of the ONS team. This podcast was created for departments like us and community organizations to come on and talk about our services. All our episodes are about connecting you to alternative public safety measures, programs, and your local growth and healing opportunities. Today's topic is what is CVI and GVI, and I have three guests here with me. And my first guest is Faith Lofton. Welcome, Faith Lofton from Office of Neighborhood Safety, Project Peace. She is our program manager, and Faith is a Rondo baby who attended both St. Paul College and Metropolitan State University. Faith has a wealthy background in mental health services supervision and overseeing casework at People Incorporated. Most recently, she was a program director at Ujamaa Place, where she also served as the interim CEO for a period of time before joining the City of St. Paul in 2023 as our program manager and the administrator of Project Peace. Welcome, Faith.
Thank you, Lynnaia.
So, Faith, yes. Cornbread or biscuits?
Biscuits.
Why biscuits?
I just like biscuits better than cornbread.
Okay. Which best describes you? Y'all get out of my face, Lifetime Movie Network is on, or pass me the remote, please, so I can watch TLC.
Pass me the remote so I can watch TLC.
You're that kind at home?
I'm definitely that one. Definitely.
Okay, so here's the scenario. You go to your friend's house and you see her cat on the kitchen counter.
You know me.
I know, that's why I'm laughing ahead of time. She takes the cat down and then offers you something to drink or a snack.
She's running out the house.
Thank you. What do you say and how do you say it?
Oh, I'm okay. Thank you. No thanks.
Along the side of Faith are two of our ONS partners that are assigned to the Aspire Gang Unit with the St. Paul Police Department. Welcome, Joelle Schutz. Joelle spent part of her adolescence growing up on the West Side, graduated with a degree in law enforcement from Century College. Joelle has been an officer for 5 years with St. Paul Police Department, but before this career choice, she worked in the restaurant industry. So, Joelle, what is the one thing that you don't care to ever smell again after working in the restaurant industry?
Just the smell of the restaurant is gross, like the back.
The back?
That sounds gross, but like the dishwasher area, yeah, it's gross.
Yeah, dirty dishwasher and like mop water stinks really bad. Joelle, pizza or chicken wings?
Pizza.
Happy hour with my after work crew or Saturday brunch with my girlfriends?
Saturday brunch.
Yeah, good choice. Next to Joelle is Sergeant Rob Lokhorst. Now, here's the funny thing about Rob. Rob is the guy that I know that I did not know that I knew, because Faith always refers to him as Locke. And when him and Joelle come into the office, they run in, they sit in the office with Faith and they talk for like 20 minutes and then they run out. So I just see jackets and bodies. And then so I emailed him like, hey, can you just send me a little bit about yourself, when he was getting ready to come on the show. And I typed in his name, but I didn't think anything of it. Like, I've been working in public safety for like decades, right? So I'm thinking like, I know a lot of cops with last names or whatever. And then I asked him, what did you do previously before coming to St. Paul? And he's like, worked at Metro Transit Police Department with you. Wow. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're Lokhorst. It's like, because I never knew his last name. And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, and then I did all that extra stuff like, shut the front door, get out of town, whatever via email. But
that's me.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
So, Rob, favorite place to eat in St. Paul?
Ooh, that is hard. It really depends on the day, but the tacos at Payne and Wells are a staple.
Okay. If you got the chance to have happy hour with your favorite Avenger in-game character, who would that be?
I'll be completely honest with you. I've never seen any of those movies.
Oh my gosh. Everybody boo him right now.
None of
Sorry.
them?
None of them.
You've never seen Avenger Endgame?
Is that one movie or multiple?
You didn't even answer the first question fully. What is the restaurant called at Payne and Wells?
I don't even know what it's called.
Oh my goodness.
We just refer to it as the intersection.
Okay.
Don't know what it's called. Really good tacos.
Next question. You guys feel free to write in about how Rob hasn't seen Avenger Endgame.
I haven't either. Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry.
You guys are setting this episode up for failure. Rob, what better way describes you? Walk past the Girl Scout cookie table at Cub Foods pretending like you don't see them? Or, dang, I made eye contact. Now I got to purchase 2 boxes.
Walk by.
Okay.
Sorry, again.
Let's hit these questions. Faith, tell me about Project Peace.
Project Peace is an individualized gun violence intervention program that connects gun violence involved individuals with community-led programming and wraparound supports. The approach facilitates direct engagement with a small number of individuals who drive community violence. We do this with a collaboration of community, social service providers, and law enforcement all standing together as one. Project Peace stands for Prevention Intervention, Environmental Design, Accountability and Outreach, and Community Action and Enforcement. Project Peace also holds our gun violence reduction strategies, so GVI, CVI, as well as community-based stabilization that we often refer to as CBS. They all provide intensive wraparound supports to promote positive life changes and lessen the possibility of retaliation for individuals that may be impacted by gun violence.
So tell me a little bit about your team and how you guys carry out this Project Peace work.
Sure. Currently, my team is composed of 3 life coaches, 1 lead life coach, and 1 life coach support. All of my staff have previous life coach and case management experience. Our team is very uniquely representative of the community that we serve. We were very strategic when we're thinking about building out our office to ensure that individuals in our office look like the community. We want to make sure that our community is comfortable with engaging and building rapport, as we believe that is one of the key components to overall success of the community that we serve. Everyone has someone they can connect to. We have an individual that is our lead life coach who has a LADC. She also is currently a therapist working towards licensure. So we just have an array of backgrounds that kind of make us uniquely us.
We've got younger, we've got older, we've got people with kids,
Absolutely.
We've got everybody. So everybody has somebody that they can relate to and identify with. And I think that one thing that people don't understand about life coaches is they are just that, and they also are able to relate because they have those life experiences.
Absolutely.
So they may be able to relate to young people because they may be freshly out of their youth, or they may have youth at home. So that's one of the key things too.
One of the components that I wanted to make sure that we talked about was we are continuing to grow. So currently we do have an open position available on the Project Peace team. One of those positions recently closed, the posting closed, and that is going to be our outreach and crisis supervisor. So we are adding an outreach team to Project Peace as well. And then we currently have a GVI project manager position that is open and available online. So completely doing a shameless plug. If you know anyone that might be interested in any sort of violence prevention work in the city of St. Paul, please go apply, encourage folks to apply. I wanted to make sure that we talked about our very dynamic growing team.
Yes, perfect. Yes, we need to talk about that. So what is CVI and GVI?
Absolutely. CVI is an acronym that stands for Community Violence Intervention. CVI is an approach that uses evidence-informed strategies to reduce violence through community center initiative. Partners of this strategy uses the established relationships with the individuals in the community to deliver wraparound services that saves lives, addresses trauma, and improves the physical and economic conditions that drive community violence. So we're engaging with a very small number of individuals who might be involved in violence that is kind of what we would say being streamlined in the community.
Important stuff. Important stuff. So Faith, tell me more about GVI now.
GVI is Group Violence Intervention. GVI focuses on groups at high risk for violent victimization and offending with the intention of keeping those involved safe, alive, and free. Through the GVI partnership, the strategy conveys a strong community message about the disapproval of violence and notification of legal and safety risks with continued violence. We do this through a method called custom notifications. During this messaging, we are doing individual home visits to individuals and providing the opportunity for wraparound supports and services, making a very genuine offer for help and support for those who want it and need it.
Rob, tell me what Aspire's involvement is in GVI.
So our involvement is really a small piece of the puzzle. Like Faith said, this is ultimately, it's a partnership. There are a lot of different groups involved in the GVI CVI strategy. We've got the police, obviously that's us. We've got ONS, we've got people from schools, people from the probation office, we have prosecutors. We're looking to add more. So the special thing about GVI and that initiative is everybody's at the same table, and we're able to have a mutually beneficial relationship where we're able to share information and get other information back, and that helps everyone to focus. So the CVI, GVI initiative and framework allows us to share information between all of these entities that are involved in the strategy, and allows us to focus our resources both with the intervention and prevention, as well as some of our investigations that we're involved in, to really focus on this the small group of people that are committing violent acts within the city.
The National Network for Safe Communities, NNSC, is our TA partner in the implementation of the GVI strategy. We have a contract with them currently coming to close, but we will continue that very strong work and partnership that we have with them. The executive director from the National Network of Safe Communities is a St. Paul native, Sasha Cotton. So we meet with her team pretty regularly to make sure that we are keeping track of that evidence-based strategy, continuing on with any education and training opportunities for our team and our staff, and making sure that we have an open line of communication, as well as continuing to meet with national partners that are involved in this work as well.
You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? This isn't just like a cereal cocktail that the mayor threw together. We're actually professionals, and we have professional connections.
Very much so.
Rob, you're in the hot seat now.
I'm ready.
Tell the community what ASPIRE stands for.
ASPIRE stands for a St. Paul Intervention and Recovery Effort.
And tell us how your jobs are intertwined, and how does ONS impact the work you guys do?
So in our ASPIRE unit, we end up working quite a bit hand in hand with the folks at ONS. And our relationship with them really kind of gives us a lot of different options for resources that we can offer to either different people or families that we come into contact with in a variety of different ways throughout the community and throughout the other tasks that we deal with our jobs. For example, a couple weeks ago, some people in our unit made a traffic stop, and we came into contact with a number of juveniles who are group related that we're very familiar with. And there was a couple of arrests made, and while we were there at the scene, the mom of one of these juveniles came up to us and was very concerned about her kid that was involved in this traffic stop. And she was pretty upset when she first came up, but in speaking with her, I could see in her eyes that she was tired and there was a lot more to the story that was going on, and was able to make a connection with her. And I knew that we had different resources through our relationship with ONS, and talked to her about the possibility of introducing ONS personnel to her and her juvenile son, as well as the other folks in her family, and set that up. And we went and met the next day with her. It was really an impactful experience for everybody, and we still are in contact with that family, providing resources, providing support to her and her teenage son, and it's impactful. It's not perfect. There's ups and downs, but I know that it is making a tremendous positive impact in that family's life, and that's just one example of the work that we're doing with ONS.
Amen. It's about the connection, right? It's about being able to connect with people, even if it's in instances like that where it looks like it's going to go bad at first, and then turning that into a positive, right? Joelle, why is CVI and GVI so important?
GVI and CVI are important for us because, kind of like what Locke said, we're focusing on the at-risk youth in our community, and it's helping us build relationships between law enforcement and the community and helping send resources their way. We're just trying to keep them safe, alive, and free.
And what is your personal connection to this work?
For me, I grew up in this community, so I think that at that age it's very important. I want to see people succeed. I've had friends die at the hand of gun violence, so it's hard, and I want to help change that.
And Locke, what about you? What's your personal connection?
So I was introduced to some of this intervention work through a gang-specific probation program that we used to work very closely with through Ramsey County Probation. And through that program, we were able to work with specific probation officers with a very specific client base of young people that were group-related. And we were able to go and do home visits with those probation officers, and it was really my first opportunity to go and make face-to-face connections with some of these primarily young men in their houses in an environment where they were kind of away from their friends and they were able to really be themselves, didn't have to act like a tough guy. That was impactful for me. I really appreciated being able to do that. We were able to work with these probation officers who were tough, held their people accountable, but they also cared a lot. Unfortunately, we aren't able to do that program anymore. That doesn't exist through Ramsey County Probation, but this renewed work with the GVI initiative and with ONS has allowed me to delve back into this stuff, and I really give Joelle credit for showing me some of the relationships that she's built as she's met different kids at schools or at the JDC or other places and formed meaningful relationships, and what that has turned into as far as us having a positive influence in their life and trying to steer them in the right direction.
And see, and this is the part that I do like and that I agree with when it comes to like building relationships. One of the things that I've learned in my career path is that when you have officers that are making connections with kids in the community, they watch them grow and you get to know them and you learn who mom is, you learn who dad is, you learn who their siblings are. You learn this kid on a personable level versus the kid just being another kid that's walking around. And when you have those relationships, you're able to handle things differently. You're able to talk and make wave with students and children, right? Versus it always ending up on something like in the worst case scenario, right? And that's the kind of things that we're trying to prevent. Is we want to build relationships so that we can know these kids on a personal level. Faith, what is your personal connection to this line of work?
I was born and raised in the city of St. Paul, a Rondo baby through and through. Not only do I work for St. Paul, but I am also a resident of St. Paul. I am a homeowner in St. Paul and just completely love my city. I have family members that I have been very close to lose their life to gun violence, other family members and several friends being impacted directly and indirectly by gun violence. Most importantly, I'm a mother. I have 3 young men that I'm raising. I strive to have a safer community for all of our St. Paul babies.
That part.
They deserve to live in a safe, thriving community. I am passionate about the people. I believe that anyone has the ability to change, given the right supports and better options to choose from, right? Like a lot of individuals choose what they have that's in front of them, right? So if we're able to give them better options to choose from, hopefully we can see better results and outcomes from those choices. The work is very, very near and dear to my heart, if you can't tell. Yeah, I don't have much more to say.
You better tell it, Faith.
Live and breathe it. So
on that note, what are the high points of your job and what are the challenges, Faith?
High points, I would say, to be able to assist families in some of the worst times in their lives. It can be after a child or spouse or loved one has lost their life due to gun violence, for families to allow us to just be there with them in that time, in that space. We understand that that's not an easy space to be in, but for us to be allowed at that very time, it's really, really meaningful to me, because they don't have to let us be there and be present, just to help them, guide them through the next steps, give them a listening ear. It's just been very, very special to me. Or to see a participant on our caseload get those wins, right? Like, we celebrate even those little things, right? So if an individual gets employment, we're celebrating that. You know, if he's doing really good in school, we're celebrating those things, because all of those things are important. Any small changes are important to the overall growth and stability of our young people. So I would say those are my high points.
Rob, high points and challenges.
So the high points, I really, I'm kind of a big picture, long-term strategy kind of guy. And the high points for me are just seeing results of what we're doing kind of working. And I think that our overall strategy with enforcement and the intervention work we're doing with ONS are really starting to show some positive results, as particularly the incidents that are considered group-related continue to drop. I really enjoy working in St. Paul, because I say that we have a lot of the same issues on the law enforcement side to deal with as a big city, but we're a small enough place where we really get to see results if we're effective at doing our job. And I think that we are beginning to see that. Like, in the unit that we work in, traditionally you might look at statistics to determine whether you're successful or not, like the number of gun recoveries that you make or the number of arrests that you make. The statistics that we're really focusing on now are like the number of shootings that we're seeing, and not just this year, but into the future, like 2026, 2027. Those are the statistics that we're looking at for determining our success. We want to see that we're having an impact in the long run.
Joelle, high points and challenges of this work.
High points are definitely seeing the positive outcome in individuals and just seeing the success from them when you're helping kids get jobs or do well with school, graduations, seeing their happiness change and a smile on their face. And the lows would also have to be when you're seeing all of that and then something happens and they're taking the 10 steps forward and a couple steps back, and you're just like, no, just keep going. It's definitely a roller coaster.
Yeah, you become invested too, right?
For sure.
Working with kids and stuff.
Yes.
You become invested and you want to see them be successful. What's up, Faith?
Challenges. I didn't get to that point.
Give me some challenges.
Absolutely. Being from St. Paul, right? You know a lot of people. I have a lot of family. They'll tell you I have a lot of family.
I got goosebumps because I feel like I know what you're about to say. Go ahead.
Sometimes you have those personal connections, right? And so when the gun violence hits your doorstep like that, and I have a dual role, like being a community member, being a friend, being a family member, but then also on the professional side, having to respond to individuals that I know to be that support, right? The individual that they're looking to for help in that moment. Sometimes that can be very difficult to watch that impact.
Yeah.
And so that's been a challenge for me, honestly, you know, to work through some of those things and seeing how people's lives have changed because of the impact of gun violence. But I think that that is what continues to push me in this work, is knowing that I can help to change lives. It's a big job and a lot of responsibility that I believe is, you know, on your shoulders when you're thinking about that. But I also don't look at that as like a negative. I just look at that as additional motivation to just be there and to help and to continue to show up for our loved ones, our community, the people that we love most.
So I'm going to hit you with another question, Faith. What would you say to those who may not understand how important having an office like this to do this work is? What would you say to those that don't understand what it is that we do, why it is that we do it, and why it's important to have it?
Wow, that's a powerful question.
But you got it.
I know. I would just say that We are the individuals that kind of help play as that liaison. We are right there standing between law enforcement and the families, right? And so I think that because we represent our community and we're from our community, we're able to get a different side of things and have a different perspective that we can then bring to law enforcement, right? Because they respect us as the professionals that we are in that space. But then we also look like the people that we're serving. So it's a sense of comfort. Like, I know you know my experiences. And so it's very unique for us to be in this space and play those roles in our community and to show up. We have non-traditional working hours. I can't tell you the number of times that I have been at the hospital at 1:30 in the morning, sitting with a mother who is waiting for her baby to get out of surgery due to gunshot wounds. Being present when law enforcement is delivering the information that a mother lost her son. That is a very unique role that not many people want to play, but our office does play that role in many people's lives. Even the aftermath of events, we are relocating families so that we can get them out of danger and out of harm's way a lot of times. We are able to work directly with law enforcement to get information that is very important and also very private, but they trust us to have that information so that we can do what we need to do to support families and make sure that they are safe. So I would say that our office is extremely important. We know that gun violence, it has been deemed as a national public health issue, and so we have to be able to do something about it. We have to be unique in our approaches. We have to work with our community to make sure that we are hearing them, that we're getting their voice, that we have them at the table as well.
That part.
And so it's extremely important, and that's the role I feel like we're playing, is in that divide, is standing right between law enforcement, but we're right here with community, and we can hear and see community in a different way to help bring forth those changes.
Thank you.
Can I
Go ahead, Joelle. Yeah.
Something else that's important, because yes, you guys do like come to the hospital and all of that, but it's also important to acknowledge like that we do when we're doing the customs, which are like at home visits.
Absolutely.
We're going out and meeting the family. Mm-hmm. There's been multiple times now where we've been out doing customs and the next day actually, or a week or two later, somebody gets shot from that house. Mm-hmm. And we have ONS responding, or myself or Locke, who actually has like relationship with these individuals. They know who's responding and taking care of them when we're talking to them or whatever that they've already encountered. And especially with ONS, you guys are building relationships. For instance, like Inspiration has came out and even sat with a young boy because he didn't have any family there while he's going through all of this. Like, that also helps with trust.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
it's building that rapport within the community.
Mm-hmm. And for the audience, one of the things that you may be interested in is that Faith mentioned it earlier, it is national. There is a National Office of Violence Prevention. We attend a lot of their trainings to learn how to do this work and to learn what is important in this work and how to make it be continuous. There are a lot of cities all over the country that are implementing these offices of neighborhood safety. And, they're all called a different name, but that's what they are. Departments that are built within their city municipals or their health departments that are implemented to engage and be the liaison between the community and law enforcement, or the community and health. It's really, really important work that they're out here doing. Joelle, what are your goals in doing this work for the communities within St. Paul?
I'd say everybody coming together. We definitely need more resources. And I would like to get like churches more involved.
Yes, girl.
Yeah, pastors, all of that. I think it's very important, and just for everybody in the community to become stronger and more work together.
Locke, what about you? What are your goals for the communities within the St. Paul?
Yeah, I've got to agree with Joelle there. We're looking to bring more resources to the table, and we want more people to get involved. Something that comes to mind for me is continuing to build trust between the police and the community. Mm-hmm. I think that in St. Paul, we've done a pretty good job for a long time. I've had numerous people that have told me, hey, the police are different here. They treat me with respect. It's different than where I came from. And that's great, but I think that we can continue to build on that. And like the example story that I shared earlier, introduce more of our officers to these resources that we can provide to families so that it helps them in their interactions with people and helps them to continue to build those relationships and change the culture, really, both within the police department and the community,
Yes.
where there is a deep and meaningful trust between them.
Rob, you better say it. Faith, what are your goals for this work in St. Paul?
I guess I would be thirding what Joelle and Locke have mentioned, but to continue to build out our community partners. We aren't in this alone. We can't do this without the community, and we don't want to do this without the community. We want them at the table to also provide healing and support to those individuals who need it most, to assist in building a stronger sense of safety by addressing some of the underlying needs of those that are impacted by violent crimes, as well as those involved in violent crimes, and to try to continue to build up the sense of community in St. Paul. One of the ways that I have been thinking about doing that is by offering more community events, getting more ONS out there. The police department does safe summer nights, doing more things like that. So we've got some stuff up our sleeve, definitely continuing to work, building out that work, but wanting to do more community-based stuff, getting individuals involved and at the table.
You guys, thank you so much. Another episode for you, St. Paul. Remember, working together and getting the word out on how citizens of St. Paul can access our programming is key. If you'd like to learn more about the Community First Public Safety, please visit stpaul.gov. That is stpaul.gov. Click on Resident and scroll down to Public Safety. In that space, you can access more information about our Community First Public Safety strategy, police, fire and emergency response, neighborhood safety, and unsheltered response efforts.